Welcome to your first module in week 6. Congratulations for making it this far. I hope you've learned quite a bit already and you continue working your way through. You're almost there. But the first thing I want to talk about in this module is brand registry. Brand registry, and there's something called brand registry and something called brand gating. And people often misuse these terms and get them mixed up. To get brand registry, as we talked about way earlier in like week 1 or 2, you need to have a trademark. You have to have a registered trademark that's filed, ideally in the country that you're selling on, that's actually registered with the gold seal and with the actual registration number. And the words that you use on that trademark have to exactly match letter by letter, space by space, the way you have your brand listed on Amazon. And that will get you brand registry. And what does brand registry do? It actually opens up a whole bunch of stuff for you on Amazon. Not only does it allow you to have some protections for your brand if someone's trying to counterfeit you or trying to knock you off or trying to jump on your listing, it can help you there. Now remember, the United States has a first sale doctrine, so that doesn't mean that if someone buys your product, they're not allowed to sell it. As long as it's in the same condition, you're allowed to actually buy a product and then resell it on. So just because someone is selling your product and you're like, hey, I haven't given them permission, that doesn't mean that you can knock them off and have total protection. But what if they're counterfeiting your product or they're doing something and violating your IP rights? It actually does give you some protection by having this brand registry on Amazon. So you just got to keep that in mind. And Amazon won't get involved if you have agreements with, say, you wholesale some of your products out. You sell on Amazon, and you also wholesale some of your products out to wholesale companies, and you have an agreement with those companies that says they're not allowed to sell your product on Amazon. I have that with a couple of my brands. I actually wholesale them out to a couple places, and in the agreements, I say these products are not allowed to be sold on Amazon. But that doesn't mean that they're actually going to, they may not abide by that. So somebody may buy from that company, may sell it on Amazon, they may sell it to somebody else that sells it on Amazon. And even though it's not authorized, Amazon will not get involved in that. They're not going to come in and get involved in that. They're looking for more violations of intellectual property or IP violations where someone's counterfeiting you or they're using your brand or your name in a way that they shouldn't. That's what the brand registry is really for. So what it allows you to do is actually go in and you can actually do a search by keyword or even by image. You can upload a picture. Like I've had this problem with some of my pictures. I spend a lot of money on some of my pictures for my models and everything. And what happens is other companies, Chinese companies, other companies in the US will take my pictures, Photoshop out my product, like if I have a makeup mirror, Photoshop out my makeup mirror and put in their product in the model's hand. Or they'll take pieces of my picture and use my model with some other, and put them in a different scene. I can upload all my pictures of my products to Amazon using brand registry. And they will go and they will search the entire Amazon database and see if there's any similar pictures, and they'll show me all the products. And just by hitting a button, I can say this one, this one, this one, this one, this one is violating my intellectual property rights. Amazon will then send them out a notice and say, hey, we've gotten a complaint, but we're temporarily suspending your listing. You now need to deal with the copyright owner. Here's their contact, and we're not going to put your listing back until they say everything is okay. So those people have to either contact me and say, I'm so sorry, I've taken down the picture, and then it's up to me in most cases if I want to let them back on or not. So you can do that with your brand name, with images. It's really powerful. But besides that, you're going to actually need, to get brand registry, there's a couple requirements. Not only do you have to have the trademark, that the name matches exactly, when Amazon approves you, they're going to probably want to send an email to your email address that has your brand name in it. They're not going to want to send an email out to a Gmail address or a Hotmail address for verification. They're going to want to send an email address out to Kevin at dogtreats.com or whatever my brand may be. And so you make sure you have that website set up. We talked about that earlier. That can forward to a Gmail address or to a Hotmail address, but they're going to want to send it to that address for some sort of verification. So make sure you have that. The other thing you have to do is you have to make sure that your brand name is actually on your product. It can't just be on the packaging, because anybody could take a package, put a brand name on there, and put some other product inside. It has to actually be on the on the actual product. So when you're manufacturing your product, you're going to want to have a tag put on there, or your brand name embossed or somehow printed on the bottom of it, because you're going to have to take a picture of that and send that into Amazon to get the final approval for brand registry. And once you have that, And you're going to have some of these protections where you can police your listing to some extent. Plus, you're going to get all the extra benefits that come with having brand registry, such as being able to run the headline ads up at the top of the page, such as getting brand analytics and some of the demographic reports, and some other really cool information that Amazon used to charge like $30,000 a year to big accounts for. Now they've opened it up totally for free to people who are brand registered. And brand analytics is a little bit more of an advanced term, and we don't cover it here because most of you are new and you don't have it yet. We cover that in the Helium 10 Elite, how to deal with that. But brand analytics gives you all this data, like which keywords are converting, which are the top 3 ones that people click on, which are the top 3 ones that people are buying. All this really cool data that you can use to really analyze your competition and find products. It's invaluable stuff. And the tools are not allowed to put these inside their tools. You can also put videos on your listing. You can have videos in that 7th picture spot if you have brand registry. You can actually put EBC, enhanced brand content, down at the bottom of the listing. There's so many things you can do once you have brand registry. So it's a really cool thing to have, and I really recommend that you get it. You can, if you want to check it out, you can go to brandregistry.amazon.com. That's where it's at. If you already are brand registered, that's where you go to log in and do everything. And now, what if you don't have brand registry? What if you're just starting out and you're like, man, I'm just getting going. I'm waiting on my trademark, but I don't want it, Kevin. This sounds like people can come in and just knock off my product or steal my idea and counterfeit me or whatever. What can I do if this happens in the meantime? Well, there's a few things you can do. One thing you can do is what's called a test buy. And you can actually go in and actually buy that person's product, receive the product as a customer, and then take pictures of it and take pictures of your product and make a claim with Amazon that shows that these are materially different and that this item is not the same as yours. And hopefully that will help you. Another thing you can do, and we talked about this in an earlier module, if you go and get a copyright on your packaging and file the copyright, and the copyrights are pretty quick to get. They don't take 9 months like a trademark does. You file a copyright, it's much more cheaper. You can then use that copyright and you can file a DMCA complaint, Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint. And by law, Amazon has to take that down. It's actually more powerful than brand registry, or more powerful in a lot of ways than a patent or even a trademark, because there's a law in the United States that requires them to take that down if they're in violation, and you got the documents to prove it. So you can use that as a method to actually get rid of them. Another thing you can do is you can send a cease and desist letter. So you can go to like ceaseanddesist.com, and there's like a form there that you can fill out, and you can send a letter to them that basically says, hey, I'm the brand owner for this. You're not authorized to sell this item. You have 24 hours to take this down, or I'm reporting you to Amazon. And when I report you to Amazon, your listing may get suspended. Amazon may potentially freeze all the funds in your account. You can don't threaten them too hard, but you can say things that might scare them. And so a lot of times that may work. Other times they may just say, get lost. We're not going to pay attention to you. But sometimes that can be very effective. There's also a contact form that you can fill out on Amazon where you file a complaint. But those forms usually aren't real effective. Now, another thing that can happen sometimes is your listing can get changed. So maybe you've created a beautiful listing, you've got a title, all these photos and all these graphics, and one day you log in and the title that's there is not the title that you put, or maybe 2 of your pictures got changed, or something like that. Well, the way you protect yourself against that is the top level way is what's called brand gating, and that's different from brand registry. It's called brand gating, and that basically means your listings are locked. So the way it works on Amazon is anybody can contribute to a listing. You don't technically own the listing. Once you upload your pictures and your copy and everything to Amazon, actually, if you read the terms of service on Amazon and their agreement, you don't own that anymore. Amazon does. And so they allow anybody to come in there and edit the listing. And so anybody can make a contribution to that listing. They can change the pictures, or they can clarify the bullet points or something if they want to. But but the way it works is there's a hierarchy. So first is the hierarchy of other sellers or users, then other sellers, and then like vendor central accounts, and then brand registry, and then the catalog team. So sometimes Amazon themselves has a team of people that will go through and make changes, and you show up on your listing like, hey, my title just suddenly got shortened. What happened? And the catalog team may have made a change without even telling you. They won't even tell you they make this change. You can use tools like Helium 10 has a tool that will go out there and notify you of any kind of change that happens on your listing. If someone changes your pictures, or they move you into a, like say the adult category, that kind of like basically hides your listing because you have to have a button turned on to see adult products, and most people don't, or anything else that changed on your listing. It's like a sentinel that will go out and like monitor everything and notify you, which is a really cool thing that all of you have access to. But if one of these things happens, what do? Well, if it's the catalog team that made the change, you can actually put in a phone call to the catalog team. And when you call in, say, I would like to speak to someone on the catalog team. Don't speak to the first person that answers the phone. You want to get to a higher level. Get to the catalog team, or you can ask for the captive team. And that'll get you usually to someone that has a little bit more power and more authority within Amazon, and can maybe help you make the change back. Maybe they'll unlock the listing period temporarily, let you make a change, and they'll lock it back. Or if you're brand registered, you should be able to make a change. The catalog team can override brand registry, but you should be able to make a change if someone else below you, and then the hierarchy below you, has made a change. So that's another reason you want brand registry. But what about if someone keeps doing this to you over and over and over? And I've seen this happen where people change the pictures, they get it changed back, and then it gets changed again, and then it gets changed back, and it just becomes just an ongoing cycle, round and round and round. Well, when that happens a number of times, you can actually request to Amazon to be brand gated. Usually brand gated, you can't ask for it. Usually Amazon only gives it to the big brands. It's meant to avoid counterfeiters. You know, the big brands like Nike, and some of those guys, some of the big brands have threatened to not sell on Amazon anymore because they don't want counterfeiters selling on their listing or taking advantage of their name. So Amazon's come and said, look, we'll brand gate you. And anybody that's going to sell has to be authorized to sell on your brand. Nobody can just jump on there and sell. Nobody can change your pictures. Nobody can change your listing. Usually they assign that. Amazon assigns that to the big brands. And you have to be brand registered first. So if you're not brand registered first, you're never going to get brand gated. But once you're brand gated, nobody can mess with your listing on the entire Amazon platform without your permission. Not even the catalog team usually. I mean, it usually takes a little bit higher level than that, the authority to change that listing. So it's a really cool thing to have if you're able to get it. But like I said, it has to be offered. The only time you can actually request it is if you have one of these problems where someone is constantly messing with your listing, constantly changing it in an inappropriate way. And then you can actually say, hey, look, can you please, this is like the 10th time. It may take 10 or more times. It's not like after 2 times. And you can say, hey, please, will you brand gate me? And a lot of times Amazon may consider it, and sometimes they'll actually do it. So that's the power of brand gating and the difference between brand gating and brand registry. Now, another thing is someone does change your listing. There is a form on Amazon you can fill out. There is a little contact form. You say, hey, my title was changed. It should read like this, or something like that. And that little form is kind of hit or miss. Sometimes on that form, they will ask you for proof. They will say, we need to see proof that this is actually incorrect. They don't trust you. Even if you're the brand owner or the brand gated person, sometimes they don't even trust you. So they ask for proof. So that's another reason you might want to have your own website where you can actually refer to, look, on my website, this is the title of the product. This is what it's supposed to be. If someone changed on Amazon to this, and usually with that proof from a verifiable, legitimate source, they will go ahead and make the change for you to what you actually want it to be. So that's another way you can do it. So that's the difference between brand gating and brand registry. As you can see, brand registry is just super, super powerful. That's why you got to get that trademark. That's why you got to consider filing a copyrights on your packaging and stuff to have a little bit of ammunition. So another program that Amazon has, if you're a brand, is called Transparency. So if you're having a lot of problems with counterfeiters, or you're having a lot of problems with people selling the product that really shouldn't be selling the product, you can actually see if you can sign up for the Transparency program. It was in beta originally, so it was by invitation only, but now you're actually able to sign up for it. And what they do is they actually give you labels. And these are like little serialized labels. They're not actually in numerical order like 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's a random code on there. And it's actually a sticker that you stick on all your products. Now, the downside of this is if you're in this program, you have to sticker all your products, not just what you send to Amazon, but if you're a brand and you're selling out into retail stores, or you're wholesaling to other people, you're going to have to sticker everything. That's a requirement of the program. And it costs about a penny or two per sticker. It's not super expensive, but it's a great technique for people that are having having problems with people changing their listing or changing their photos or sending in unauthorized products or counterfeit products or something like that. It's called the transparency program. Now you do have to be a brand to be registered into this program. But once you do it, like I said, they give you these stickers. You have your 3PL or your factory put those on every single package. And then when it gets shipped into Amazon, Amazon scans that and they know that based on your UPC code or your ASIN that it has to have that sticker on it. If it doesn't have that sticker on it, they don't accept the product. So that's a great way to eliminate problems if you have them in the future. Another way to do this is kind of a ninja way to do it that I do is instead of using the transparency program, or maybe you're not eligible for the transparency program, you can actually put something on your packaging. So in my case, I don't use plastic bags. I use cardboard boxes for almost all of my products. So what I do is I actually put a little bit of a wording or a little bit of a code on the actual packaging that's hidden. If you take a look at in the download section, there's a download there for an example, and you can download that PDF and take a look at what I'm talking about. But that PDF will show you a die cut. It's like a flat, like if you took a box and laid it flat before you folded it. And in that die cut, when you fold up some of the edges, some of that gets hidden because when you fold up one side, it goes over the other side and like the glue goes there or something. So what I do is in that hidden section of the box, I actually have my printer or my box maker actually put either a barcode or just some words there, like this is the original, or put a logo or something in there. And then when the box gets folded, that's basically hidden. And so if someone actually tries to knock off my product and sends it in and does a pretty good job of copying my packaging and everything and sends that product in, I know immediately that it's not the correct product because I can do a test buy and buy my product and buy their product, open up the packaging, open it all up and take a picture of each one and say, look, these are different. These are not the same thing. And I'm not saying that will work every single time, but that can give you a little bit of extra ammunition if you're having a problem with counterfeiters. So I hope this module has helped you all about branding and brand gating and helped you understand how you can protect yourself. The next module right after this one is an interview that I did with one of the top IP experts in the business that specializes in Amazon, Rich Goldstein. He's a lawyer from New York. He actually wrote a book for the American Bar Association on patents. And he and I have a discussion about IP, which is patents, trademarks, and copyrights, and how you can use those to great effect to help protect yourself on Amazon. So there's some additional information in that next module that's coming straight from one of the best experts in the business, and I'm asking him some very pointed questions. So I hope you enjoy that module, and it gives you a little bit additional information as well. So after you've watched that, I will see you in the next module. Looking forward to seeing you there.